Hello, welcome to Nature to Tea, or welcome back. A channel where we talk about better and healthier options when it comes to the food we eat, beauty, and personal care products. In this video, I'm going to talk about my experience with having a hysterectomy, my journey with the procedure, the pre-op, the op, and also post-op. So I'm just here to share my experience in case you're wondering what it feels like to get a hysterectomy, for those who are thinking about it or for those who are preparing to get one. So I decided to have a hysterectomy, not because I didn't try other options, but because I kind of did not do a very good job at taking care of my health sooner until it was a little too late. My fibroids grew so big that they needed to be removed or live with the consequences of the health problems that I was dealing with, along with just losing my quality of life. On my previous video, I talked about fibroids and things I wish I've known before my fibroids got to where I needed surgery to remove my uterus, aka getting a hysterectomy. If you haven't seen my first video, please do check that out. I talked about fibroids and the things that contributes to us getting fibroids. And once again, it is more common in Black people because of our melanin, which is great in one way, but also contributes to us being deficient in vitamin D. First of all, before you get a hysterectomy, do get a second and even third opinion. Some doctors are quick to give you the option of having a hysterectomy without trying other things. One option is a uterine artery embolization to cut out the supply of blood to the fibroids so they can shrink naturally. The other option is a myomectomy, which is cutting out the fibroid. The other option is going on a very strict diet to help shrink your fibroids. Some people say that works for them, but it depends on the person and also the size of the fibroids, also the types of fibroids, because mine were calcified. I don't think any extreme diet would have helped me with that, but had I done it sooner before they got that big, I potentially could have helped shrink my fibroids. Anyway, I did not do a good job at starting a healthier diet that I finally started about 7 years ago. But anyway, my original treatment was a uterine artery embolization, which was about 16 years ago. But the thing with that is that the chances of the fibroids later coming back is very common. That's what happened to me. And when they came back big, and they were causing lots of issues with me. And that's why I decided to do the surgery, also because of my age, and I wasn't planning to have any more kids. It was easier for me to go with that option. So let's talk about my hysterectomy journey. My experience with my hysterectomy, what I expected versus what happened. But it's always best to get a second and third opinion before you get this major surgery, because it takes a long time to recover. It's been about a little over 3 months since I had my surgery. I was thankful enough and blessed that everything went well. Did not have any complications, but unfortunately, some people, it's not the same story as far as the surgery goes. I did not have any infections, nothing. Everything went perfect, and I woke up too. Anyway, when you go on your consultation for the surgery, your doctor will give you a list of things that you will need to do before the surgery. I'm just going to talk about the general things that you will need before you go into surgery. For one, you'll need very comfortable and loose clothing. You will also need a waist support or a binder. This have been overused, and this is not even one of the best ones. One thing about this binder is that it takes a little bit more strength to do it by yourself, especially for the first few days. Luckily, I was staying with my daughter for the first week, so she helped me. I was able to do it by myself after a couple of days. but it might be easier to get the one with the zipper that you can adjust. And then you can advance to these type as you heal. So after about 4 to 6 weeks, you can upgrade into a corset, not only to help with the swelling and pain, but also to help your stomach go back to before you have your fibroids or hysterectomy. My daughter did go and buy the supplies that I need. She bought me some very comfortable clothes, the disinfectant soap that you need, this binder and other items, healthy foods, fruits, vegetables, and things like that. Just the basic things, because you will be immobile. Your recovery time depends on the kind of hysterectomy you get. And the kind of hysterectomy you get depends on the size of your fibroids. My fibroids were pretty big and I had over 10 of them. So they had to do a C-section incision. So I've been cut from one end to the other, and that was the only way they could safely get my fibroids out. But if your fibroids are not that huge, they can do a tiny incision and work their way so that you will birth the fibroids. It is less invasive. The recovery time is way shorter. So if you have that option, that's the better option. For me, I did not have that option, so they had to cut me open to get them out. And the recovery time was 6 weeks. I've been a little over 3 months post-op, and I stayed at the hospital for 2 days. They were trying to keep me for 3 days. I was like, nope, I'm ready to go home. I think I was okay being home because, for one, I was staying with my daughter. Now, if I didn't have my daughter, I probably would have stayed one more day. But I had my daughter to help me and take care of me. And then I don't do well with using the bathroom outside of my house. And when you do have any kind of surgery, constipation is a very common thing to have in the first week or so of the surgery. So I was already constipated and did not feel comfortable at the hospital. So after the 2 days, when they tried to keep me again, I was like, no, I am ready to go home. So thankfully I was released to go home. This is my second time having a procedure for my fibroids. The first procedure I talked about in my previous video, and this time I decided just to get rid of it for good by having a hysterectomy versus the other options. And by the way, my first procedure of taking care of my fibroids was way more painful than this major surgery, surprisingly. And one thing that I want to emphasize on is that choose your gynecologist wisely. My gynecologist was great. She's gentle. She knows what she's doing. Also, they had opening. It wasn't like one of those super busy hospital. Actually, I think it's a newer hospital and it's not as busy. So I was able to get something scheduled in sooner than later. And the staff were amazing. So choose the hospital and your doctor wisely. I had a way better outcome with this surgery. Everything went well versus the first time I had a procedure. The first procedure was horrible. This was in California, by the way. The hospital staff were rude. I was very sick, constantly throwing up, couldn't hold my medication that they kept giving me for my pain, even though it wasn't staying in me. I guess I was sensitive to the pain medicine that they were giving me, but the nurse that I had was really rude and did not care. But this time, the nurses were great, even though they kept rotating nurses. But they were all really nice. They were all really caring. They did their job well. Know yourself enough to tell your doctor, your surgeon, what you can tolerate and what you cannot. About maybe 6-7 years ago, I discovered that I might be allergic to tramadol. I do have back problems. I have nerve problems. So I've been on medications, well, used to be on medications for a very long time. But tramadol is one of those things that I don't handle well. It makes me throw up. And there's another pain medication also that does the same thing. So I told this to my doctor so that they are aware. And they also put a It's like a metal thing behind my ear, and that's supposed to help you not get nauseated and prevents you from throwing up, right? So that helped a lot. Like, I did not have any nausea issue at all. I did not throw up at all. So choose your hospital and your doctor, your surgeon wisely. Know who you're dealing with, and also do your investigation, do your research on the hospital and the doctors that you choose when you're dealing with fibroids, and especially with treating your fibroids, because already it is a very stressful event to go into any kind of surgery. It was really scary for me because this is the first time in my life getting major surgery, so it was really stressful, even more stressful for my daughter, but thankfully everything went well. My point is, choose your hospital and your doctor wisely. After the surgery, one of the things that is really important is caring for your wound. It is a good idea to be using your disinfectant soap, which is right here. You can buy this at any store, and just keeping the area clean and dry. Even though I've seen on TikTok on how to care for your incision from regular people, but some are from doctors too. People have different opinions on that. Some say it's better to keep it moist. So I did use Agafor, but when I went to my first post-op visit, my doctor was like, no, don't do this. Just keep it dry, wash it, don't put anything on it. I was like, oh, okay. So it's always best to talk to your doctor, and they always give you a package of post-op care. I didn't see it on the info sheet, but you can also ask and talk to your doctor about what to do and what not to do to be on the safe side. Yeah, just keep that area clean and dry. So one thing I was confused about was the band-aid on the incision. I did not know I was supposed to take it off after like 3 days. Maybe it was in the instructions and I just overlooked it. But I left it on for a little longer than how long I was supposed to leave it on. And to be honest, I was really afraid to take it off. I don't know why. I'm just kind of anxious about certain things, especially when it comes to wound and like cuts, blood, and things like that. I don't do well with those things. And I was afraid to look at the incision as it was healing, but I was brave enough to look at it, and it wasn't bad at all. The other thing is you're going to experience swelling. Your stomach will swell from the cutting and, just the body trying to heal. And I still have some swelling. My stomach is still not back to where it used to be before my fibroids. Also lose skin, and that's part of the reason why I want to start doing more light core strength exercises to help strengthen my core and tighten my muscle. But whatever you do, guys, make sure you are taking care of your body to heal. And one of the ways you can do that is, for one, eating healthy. Secondly, getting enough sleep and rest. Thirdly, staying away from stress. Anything that brings you unnecessary stress, stay away from it until you are healed, because you need to build your immune system, and you need your immune system to help you heal. So stay away from stress, take care of your health, eat healthy, sleep well. This surgery is painful. For me, not as painful as the first one, but when it comes to the incision, just moving is so uncomfortable, so painful. And apparently when they do the surgery, they have to pump you with gas, so you become very bloated, and that gas pain is painful. The other painful thing that I experienced was the incision, because they have to cut through your nerves and your muscles and cut things to get them out. So, but the incision is really painful. Getting up is a struggle. And mind you, I'm almost 6 feet tall. I'm a tall gal. So getting up, especially when you're at a certain height like myself, getting seated on the toilet is a struggle. It hurts to breathe because of the trapped gas. So those are the discomfort and the pain that comes with getting the surgery. The pain is definitely intense for the first week. After that, it gets better. But one thing that is really important after getting the surgery is that you have to move to prevent blood clots. You have to move your body. Even at the hospital, the nurse will come and encourage you to walk around. Sometimes they will hold you, and if you're comfortable walking by yourself with, holding on the rail, you can do that too. But they definitely encourage you to walk. They even tell you when you get home to make sure to move around, even if you don't go out, to just move around the apartment or the house that you are staying. It is uncomfortable and painful to move, just because your muscles are trying to heal. So walking is very important. If you have a recliner already, you are blessed, because it is way easier to be able to lay down on a recliner and get back up to use the bathroom and do whatever that you need to do. I did not have a recliner, but I'm going to show you this sofa that I have that works pretty okay too, because you get to sit down with your legs up instead of laying flat. Because the thing is, every time you use your core muscles, it really hurts. So if you're laying flat on your back, it's going to be harder to get up than if you're like sitting up to sleep or to lay down, right? And the other thing is, guys, I have scoliosis, I have nerve damage. Laying on my back is the most uncomfortable way for me to lay down. I have a dent and a twist in my spine, so laying on my back is very difficult, very uncomfortable. But when you do have a hysterectomy or any kind of open surgery in your stomach, the safest way to go to sleep is to lay on your back or to sit. So it was very challenging for me, but getting those pillows, those pregnancy pillows, is really helpful. I heard. I wish I did this. I did not even have time to really, get everything I needed and do my research and all that, because one note here, I had my surgery about 2 months after moving to a new apartment. So it was a lot going on. So I did not pay attention to all the details. I did not do my full research to, get the best things and all of that. But I heard the pregnancy pillow do help some people, especially people with back issues. If you have access to that, please use that or buy it. Another important thing about this hysterectomy journey is that it's always best to have someone to support you. When I had my first surgery, I was married then, and my husband came out of state to support me, but he wasn't really supporting me. Yeah, it was one of the worst surgical procedures that I had with a so-called support. But try to have someone that truly cares about you to be on your side. Luckily, this time, my daughter is old enough to support me both physically and emotionally, even though she's kind of tiny. But she helped me get off the bed, helps me turn if I need to, got me food, cooked for me. So she was really here for me. If you're deciding to have this kind of procedure, please, 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 even if it's one person, try to have someone to help you. It's really hard to do it by yourself. I don't know how people that live by themselves do it, but try to get someone that is supportive, someone that actually cares about you, to be right there for you. And her sweet friends bought me flowers. Some of them bought me food. It was just so nice to have her and her friends around as a support system. So make sure you have someone or people around you that help you, at least for the first week or week and a half. It's really hard to even go to the bathroom, let alone do anything else. The first 2.5 weeks, you're not as mobile. After about 2.5 weeks or so, with discomfort and pain, but I was able to walk more normal than before. My back was kind of hunched, and every step of walking was painful for the first week and a half or two. It was really challenging, and plus my back issues that didn't help. But one thing though that I really appreciate with this surgery and having to rest is that I did not have any issues with my sciatica, with my nerves in general, because I was able to sleep. I wasn't on my feet. I wasn't sitting up too much. I was mainly laying down. I wasn't putting pressure on my nerves, especially my sciatic nerves. So in that manner, it helped, but besides that, the monies, the stresses, and all of that, the pain, it's it was kind of challenging to say the least. And I really started healing and feeling less pain about 3.5 weeks into it. The 3-week came, I was like, oh my goodness, why am I still having these pains? The 5th week is when I actually started feeling better. The only thing that was worrisome to me, and it still is the numbness. Now it's better. I can kind of feel my stomach now, but I still have that numbness. And I still have sharp pains, like needles. I guess it's my nerves trying to heal. And I talked to my doctor about this on my 6-week post-op visit, and she told me that it does take time for the muscles and nerve to really heal and go back to normal. And I know I do have nerve problems already, so I don't know for how long I'm gonna deal with this numbness and sharp pain. But it's not as frequent and it's not as intense as it used to be. So hopefully in a couple of weeks or maybe a couple of months, I'll be back to normal. But you cannot really engage in like workouts and taking baths, going swimming during the first 6 weeks. And after my 6-week post-op, the doctor cleared me. She said everything was healing well. So she cleared me to take baths and swimming, but she said no strenuous exercises, nothing crazy like that. So just gentle exercise, which is my main source of exercising anyway. I'm not big on cardio. I don't run anymore. I'm able to stretch, not as comfortably, because like if I stretch a certain way or do certain yoga positions, I still have pain. But I'm hoping in a couple of weeks I can do more of those things, but I do still stretch. I do light strength exercises. I also walk. Yeah, those are the kinds of exercise that I'm able to do so far. After the surgery, you'll be prescribed some pain medicine to help you cope with the pain. But one thing that you will need is some Gas X, especially the first 4 or 5 days. You're gonna need some Gas X. It could be given to you at the hospital, and or when you leave, you can get it over the counter. And I would say get it before even the surgery, unless if you know for sure you can get it at the hospital or as a prescription along with your other medications. But you will definitely need some Gas X along with some pain medicine. I'm not a big fan of taking man-made medicine, but obviously it's a surgery, so I did take the pain medicine as needed. There's a strong pain medicine that they give you, which is narcotic. And then there's the regular ibuprofen that they give you to take every 4 to 6 hours as needed to help you tolerate the pain. And then you take the stronger one as needed. So I was really careful not to take the strong one, unless if I really needed it. But after about 3 weeks, the pain definitely gets way better. But the first week and a half to 2 weeks is definitely intense. So just be mindful of that. Another tip is try to have some money saved up. My recovery time was 6 weeks, so I was on FMLA, but I was literally getting paid about 60% of what I would have been making if I were to be working. So money was pretty tight and continues to be tight, even though I went back to work about 2 months ago. If you can, try to save up some money before your surgery, because for one, you're gonna buy a lot more things like food. I usually cook what I eat. I don't buy out. Luckily, my daughter was able to cook for the most part, and also she was collaborating with a company that had amazing food. She was able to take care of me when it comes to food, at least for the first week or so, and also bought me groceries when I needed stuff. And even if you have FMLA, unless if you have a great FMLA benefit, you'll need more money to supplement the difference in your pay. So it's best to save up some money if you can. Not everyone is able to save, especially the way the economy is right now. But it was tough, and it is still tough because I'm still trying to catch up on my bills. And even going back to work is, it's a challenge. On top of the financial struggle, I also have this big bill that I have to pay, even though I do have health insurance. But I still have quite a bit to pay for my deductible, which is still waiting for me.
Hi, I'm just trying to figure out why you guys didn't pay for my hospital bill. Oh, well, it appears you have not met your deductible yet. But I pay $300 a month for health insurance. Oh, that's your insurance premium. Well, then what do I get for my premium? You get the opportunity to pay your deductible. Okay, so once I pay my deductible, then you'll pay for all my health care? Yes, sir. Except for your co-insurance.
A couple of major changes that I noticed after my surgery is that I used to experience a lot of hair shedding. Now that's stopped. I still experience a little bit of shedding, but definitely not as much as I was having with the fibroids. Secondly, I can sleep without having to wake up to use the bathroom. I don't have to frequently pee. I can go hours without having to pee, which is so unusual for me. I used to pee about every hour and a half, every 2 hours, like constant. But now I'm able to go like 4 or 5 hours without having to pee, which is very unusual for me. So that is one of the changes that I really am grateful for, being able to sleep, being able to not have to pee all the time. Also my hair, I have hope that my hair will actually grow. This is a wig, but my hair is starting to grow and I'm having less hair shedding, so I don't have to keep reshaving my hair and trying to regrow it, and then it will keep doing the same thing by shedding again. So I'm thankful for those positive changes. This is my hysterectomy journey. Every hysterectomy is different, and your recovery time depends on your state of health before your surgery, and also how big your fibroids were and what kind of hysterectomy or how your hysterectomy is being done, whether it's just a small incision versus a C-section incision. In that case, you'll need more time to recover, like in my case. But yeah, if you are deciding to have this procedure done, do get second and third opinion. And if you're going through this journey, I am wishing you healing and easy recovery. Thank you so much for watching this video, and don't forget to give it a like. Also, if you're leveling up and becoming a healthier version of yourself and choosing healthier options when it comes to food recipes, beauty recipes, or even personal product recipes, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I hope you have an amazing day, evening, night, wherever you are.